Welcome back to the channel. Today we are at Catterick Wargames Club and the Dark Eldar are facing off against Alex's Iron Warriors. This is going to be a battle of blood. The mission today is Crusade. Crusade is where you have 5 objectives, or rather D3 plus 2, so we've got 1 down here, 1 in the centre of the bridge that the Dark Eldar are going to be assaulting, and we've got 1 in this building here. We've got 1 in the ruins behind the Obliterators lines, and another one here that the cultists seem to be swarming around. The Iron Warriors have been laying siege to this city for days and days and days. They are a little bit weakened, their force is not quite at full strength, and the Dark Eldar are taking this opportunity, the pirates that they are, to swoop in and steal the objectives. So Alex set the Iron Warriors up first, we rolled off for that, and he is deployed first. And then I've deployed second. A lot of my army is in reserve, so let's have a quick look through the entire army lists. Right guys, so first off I just want to make a very quick apology. Unfortunately, the army overviews that me and Alex filmed on the day of the battle report somehow got erased from the camera. So I do apologise, we are going over the armies in retrospect. There was also a small mistake that was made in the battle report, which was done before the new FAQ was released, which obviously made a bit of a difference to possibly the outcome. So I'm going to talk you through the army, but the main change is with this girl here. Now this is the model from Raging Heroes that I do use as my Archon, so please go and check them out. Now I normally run her with a Husk Blade and a Soul Trap. The Husk Blade is a power sword with instant death. Soul Trap captures the strength of the wounds that you basically kill or inflict on your opponent. So obviously, you know, killing somebody with 3 wounds would give you +3 strength. That's recently now been FAQ'd because if the weapon has instant death, it technically only inflicts 1 wound but kills the entire model. So we played it the old way, so apologies about that. I am aware of that now. So what is in the force today? Well, Archon, Soul Trap, Husk Blade, Blast Pistol, Shadow Field, and Haywire Grenades. So yeah, she was quite kitted out doing what she was supposed to do. I am running a Real Space Raider detachment. So for fast attack we've got a unit of 6 and then a unit of 3 Reaver jet bikes. The unit of 6 has an Arena Champion with an Agonizer that you can see there. There's 2 Caltrops in the unit of 6 and 1 in the unit of 3. The other fast attack slot, we've got a unit of Scourge with Haywire Blasters. For troops, we have 2 units of 5 with a blaster each in the Venom. And obviously I don't really show the warriors because they either get blown up and then as soon as they get out they get killed. So yeah, I don't normally get them out unless I absolutely have to. And then we've got a unit of 10 with a Splinter Cannon in the Raider with Night Shields and of course a Splinter Axe. Both Venoms running dual Splinter Cannon. Heavy support, we have Ravager with Night Shields and Triple Lance. We have the Forge World Reaper with Night Shields. And we've got the Void Raven Bomber, which I want to like the model a lot, but I just feel it's a little bit overcosted for what it does. If it was still armor 11, it might be a little bit better. But yeah. And then last but not least, the last fast attack slot is the Razor Wing with 2 Dark Lancers, 2 Shatterfield, I think 2 Monocyte are the standard missiles, and of course Night Shields on that. I'm then running a formation. I'm running the Grotesquerie. And this model is my count as Urian Rakarth today. It's the homunculus that I normally use in the Dark Artisan formation. This model is Nefaya from Raging Heroes. Same as Ashara actually. So please go and check them out. Raging Heroes do some awesome miniatures. And we've got 2 units of 3 Grotesques there as well. And each of those are going in a squad, in a Raider rather, with Night Shields. So they'll be hurtling forward, and of course Ashara will be attaching to one of those units. So that is 1994 points of Dark Eldar.
Hi guys, this is my 2000 points of Iron Warriors. Start off with a Lord, Power Armor, Sigil of Corruption, Bolt Pistol and Siegebreaker Mace. These are accompanied by 9 Possessed Marines inside of a Land Raider. 2 Troops choices, 2 units of 2 Obliterators. Heavy support choices, Land Raider as said, Defiler, Power Fist and Heavy Flamer. Vindicator with Demonic Possession and a Combi Bolter. Aegis Defense Line, proxy for an Icarus Las Cannon. Got a Hell Cult, 2 units of Cultists, 1 of 10 and 1 of 15. Hell Brute with a Plasma Cannon. Cult of Destruction, 2 units of single Obliterators, a unit of 3 Obliterators, and my Warlord is the Warpsmith. He's got Warp, Serpent Nest and an Awe of Dark Lord.
Right, so with that, the Iron Warriors are going first. We've got Cultists with the Warlord, we've got Obliterators, more Cultists, and the Hellbrute. Vindicator, of course, straightforward there with a 3-up cover thanks to that Aegis, or a 4-up cover rather. And of course on the back lines we have the Land Raider and the Defiler. Meanwhile, I have put most of mine in reserve. We've got Urian Rakarth in this one with 3 Grotesques. We've got the Archon in this one with 3. We've got the unit of 6 Reavers and the Ravager, and that is right. So super fast first turn there for the Iron Warriors. Basically, these guys shot twice. They shot the assault cannons and the plasma cannons. The Land Raider shot one of the las cannons and snapshot and hit with the other one. The Icarus assault cannon from this guy and the plasma cannon from the Hellbrute in there. Everything, including the battle cannon, poured into this bike unit. And yeah, the arena champion is left by himself. He did pass morale, and I think he's going to be hiding. He was anticipating going forward, getting a nice couple of shots off on these guys. But yeah, that didn't happen, and he's going to be hiding to potentially steal one of the objectives at the back, I think, by the end of the game. And with that, the Dark Eldar advance and turn 1 is over. Both the Raiders moving 12 and flatten out 18 straight into the deployment lines of the Iron Warriors. I forgot to mention as well that this guy did take a wound thanks to Gets Hot on one of his plasma cannons. I've actually swapped the Raiders around as they've crossed paths. The Archon is in this one. He's seen the enemy Warlord and wants a piece of him with that Husk Blade to try and cut him down. So the Grotesques are here. The reason I've pushed so close is so that it's very risky for Alex to shoot the Vindicator or the battle cannon on the Defiler. The only other thing that I've done is I have moved the arena champion back to secure this objective. He is out of line of sight, which means he can't be shot down. I thought about moving the Ravager out here to get a couple of shots in, but with the Aegis defense line there as well, I'd be incredibly lucky to get an explodes result. So I'm going to leave it where it is until more anti-tank arrives in turn 2. And with that, we move straight on to Iron Warriors turn. Phase for the Iron Warriors. The Land Raider has stayed where it is, but the Obliterators have just pulled back ever so slightly. The Cultists are shuffling round, as is the Vindicator and the Defiler. But unfortunately, that is not the thing. The Archon has made a rookie mistake as he bellowed Urian and the Grotesques forward and ordered the arena champion to hold the objective at the back. Yeah, he didn't anticipate the Obliterators landing at the back. These guys tried to go for the back of the Ravager and scattered, and this guy almost mishap, but not quite. So yeah, is the Ravager going to stay alive? Should I have moved him out and probably tried to get lucky with a couple of shots across there? We don't know, but we're going on to the shooting phase, and these guys are using twin-linked heavy flamers against him. Just standard flamers. And no worries. And my biker is toughness 5, so Alex is going to need 5s. Re-rolling here though.
Yeah. So we'll do.
That's 1 wound, twin linked.
Just 1.
And I've got a 6-up, feel no pain. And the arena champion is cut down. Right, so we're just in the middle of the shooting phase, and obviously we've already lost the Raiders. Basically, these guys have shot melter guns, the heavy bolt, and the las cannons from these. Plasma cannon from this guy got hot and unfortunately took a hull point. This guy shot the melter gun and managed to blow this one up. Explosions all over the place. And only one Grotescus took a wound, and we killed a single cultist. Yeah. However, Alex is going to be ballsy here with the Vindicator. Yeah. Where does it go? That's not what I want. -3, so 2 inches that way. So it's going to hit those guys. We'll work that out and see what damage he's going to do. This isn't looking good. Right, so rest of the shooting phase. These guys unloaded twin multi-melters. Right, rest of the shooting phase. The Obliterators unloaded multi-melters into the side armor of the Ravager. One of them going through, and unfortunately he's now immobilized, which isn't good because he can't see anything besides anything that comes this way. He is holding the objective, so maybe if I can clear these guys off, Alex might leave him alone. This guy shot a twin link melter, managed to pen. However, I did manage to stop that thanks to 3 up cover for being obscured, plus the night shields. Only other thing that happened is down here the Grotesques took fire from pretty much the rest of the force. That Obliterator, the Flame Bombardment, the battle cannon from the Defiler. And as you can see, one is on 1 wound and these 2 are on 2. The Aegis actually provided me with a cover save, and then we feel no pains thanks to getting that +1 toughness. Right, let's move on. Right, so in the combat phase, the Obliterators charged in. Their initiative 1 thanks to going through cover and with Power Fists and Urians. Icor Injector managed to double out or instant death one of them. The Grotesques, despite getting 2 instant death wounds, the Obliterator's armor held out. The Obliterators failed to do anything back. Urian tanking everything on his 4. And then they ran, and unfortunately Alex rolled a 6 for his initiative, and despite Urian being initiative 5, unfortunately couldn't cut them down. They are running, and they did pass the morale check, the fear check at -1 leadership. However, over here, yeah, the cultists and the Iron Father have charged in. Or Warpsmith? Warpsmith have charged in, and obviously the Warpsmith has to issue a challenge. My Archon is issuing a challenge anyway because she needs the extra strength to beef her out with that soul trap. So the Archon is going to go first, but this is a bit of a predicament because the Warpsmith has 2 up armor. My sword is AP3. So basically, can I wound Alex and can he fail his 2 up? However, he then swings back at strength 8 and I've got a strength 6. Yeah. Still, it would double the Archon out, and I've got a 2 up invuln until I fail it. So it's basically, who can roll a 1 first? Yeah. This is going to be fun. So the Archon is higher initiative, hitting on 3s because I'm weapon skill 7. That's not what I want, and I'm only strength 3, so I'm wounding on 5s. That's 1 wound, Alex.
That's a 6.
And he makes it on a 6, but then you get to swing back. How many attacks?
5 attacks on the charge. I rolled 2 for Nest of Warp Serpents, I think. So if 2 of these hit on 4s, neither do, I don't get instant death.
Okay.
And these are just 4s.
1 hit. 2s.
6.
Oh, don't roll a 1, don't roll a 1. Oh, thank God. Right, so those 2 guys are duking it out, and I'm going to hazard a guess that this might go on for a while. But yeah, the Grotesques and the Cultists are now going to duke. Right, so despite the Grotesques having rampage, they got an extra 7 attacks. We only managed to kill, was it 6? 4 Cultists. 4 Cultists we managed to kill. And Alex unfortunately didn't do any damage back. The 2 Warlords are going to be duking it out. Hopefully till the end of the game I don't want to lose, or hopefully kill the Warlord. We shall have to see though. Dark Eldar seriously need to make a comeback though. We've got very, very few units left on the board. Hopefully the reserves will pay off as the Archon lets out a scream in combat. Reserves. We've got a single Venom on here to hopefully take on these guys and then potentially get me this objective here. The Reavers, the unit of 3, is going to try and take out this one, and meanwhile I'll get 2 shots from the Ravager at these guys. But I've also got the bomb from the Void Raven and the Razorwing coming in tandem to try and destroy some stuff over here. We're going to unleash the missiles from the Razorwing first to see if we can do some damage to the Cultists and the Hellbrute, and we've also got the Void Lancers from the Raven to potentially do some damage down here. We've also got another Venom that landed back here. The only thing not in at the minute is the Reaper and the Scourge, which would have been very, very helpful in this turn. But let's move on to movement and see if the Dark Eldar reinforcements can start to push back against the Iron Warrior. Right, so shooting phase. Urian unleashed the Casket of Flensing on the Obliterators. I thought about keeping it for the Possessed to jump out, but they're probably going to charge me next turn anyway. And with the weight of attacks that they get, they're probably going to chomp through the Grotesques in the end. Figured I wouldn't get another chance to use it, so I popped it off. Got 2 wounds on the Obliterators, but Alex managed to pass both saves. Down here, all of the Poison Fire and the Blaster did 1 wound on these guys. The Blaster unfortunately failing to hit. Down here, the Obliterators are gone. The Void Mine managed to kill the one that it hit. It did scatter slightly, but then the Side Lance managed to take out the other one. Down here, these guys rapid fired into here and did 1 wound. The Flyers came screeching in and unloaded everything down here. The Razorwing targeted the Hellbrute with all of its missiles and its lancers, snapfiring the lancers, but the missiles managed to kill half of the cultist unit there. Not before the guys inside of here, not before the Venom pilot managed to kill the rest of the cultists. However, the Blaster that was in here took aim as the Venom touched down and blew up the Vindicator with a single shot, and even managed to damage the Obliterator here as well. So not a bad round of shooting at all for the Dark Eldar. We've still got more reserves to come on, but we've still got Obliterators in our deployment zone to deal with. We've also got a number of key combats in the centre that are very, very pivotal to us controlling the objectives. We're in each other's deployment zone, and it's going to get nasty. We've got a number of key combats down here in the centre. The Dark Eldar are looking to take control of this objective, but we have Obliterators in our deployment zone. The armies are both split. Fights in every corner of the battlefield. Right, so down here, despite Urian and the Grotesque inflicting fear on these guys, they passed the morale check for charging in. Unfortunately, Alex then failed the morale check for fear at -1. We managed to get several wounds in, but only inflicted a single wound. Alex in turn inflicted a single wound on Urian. Down here though, we've got the challenge ongoing. So the Archon hits on 3s. That's not what I want. A wound on 5s. That's 1 wound with instant death. Oh! Slay the Warlord, and that's, how many wounds has he got? 3? 2. So that gives me +2 strength. On the Archon, she is now strength 5 base. Right, so with the sheer weight of dice, the Grotesques having rampage there against the remaining cultists managed to cut them down. Alex unfortunately not able to make quite enough saves. The Archon there letting out a huge wail in the deployment zone of the Iron Warriors as she slew the Warp Smith and trapped his soul forever. Let's move on to Iron Warriors turn. Turn 3, the Possessed have leapt out of the Land Raider and the Land Raider has pulled back. The Possessed are going to, of course, go in and try and stall these guys and stop me from scoring this objective. But down here, yeah, the Hellbrute is going for the Venom if the Land Raider can pop it with them las cannons. And I'm guessing that Obliterator is going to be very, very nasty. Leapt over the Aegis to deny these guys a cover save and then potentially take these out. Meanwhile, in the corners, Alex is going for the kill. These 2 guys are pushing forward onto this Venom, and of course this Obliterator is going for these guys. So, fights in every single corner of the battlefield, but the middle, the blasted out centre across the bridge, is totally clear. The objective entirely up for grabs. So it seems as though the Iron Warriors are faltering. The las cannons and the heavy bolter did a single hull point to this. It's stunned, it can't move, it's snap firing. As a result, the Hellbrute's plasma cannon hit but failed to do anything. The heavy flamer, meanwhile, although it didn't damage the venom, killed the guy with the blaster inside, which is absolute key because the poison. Strength 1 ammo, not doing anything to the armor of the Hellbrute there. You can still charge it though, and obviously my Overwatcher can't do anything. The battle cannon landed on top of the Archon, but unfortunately failed to do anything. Me scrunched up against that Aegis, managing to keep protected. However, this guy did take a single wound from the assault cannon on this Obliterator. Down this side though, these guys, twin link melter guns at the Venom, failed to do anything. However, the Venom is jinking, but I think I'm probably going to lose that thanks to them guys charging. And in this corner, the Obliterator firing the assault cannon, but failing to do anything on these guys. I didn't even need a jink, thanks to being toughness 5, it's harder to wound them. So yeah, I think Alex is going to be charging in with him as well. Right, so in combat, down here, of course, the Hellbrute charged in and tore apart the Venom. And unfortunately, those guys are pinned, which is going to be easy pickings for him next turn. Down here, these guys charged in, got 4 penetrating hits. And guess what? The hollow field flickering into life and keeping the Venom alive. He passed 5 up invulnerable saves. So he's going to move off and shoot them. Meanwhile, down here, this Obliterator cut down a single Reaver. They passed the morale check, but they've got a nice little surprise for you, Alex. They're going to hit and run. However, before we do that, down here, Alex has issued a challenge with his Chaos Lord, stood in the center. Urian, of course, stood up and has accepted. And I didn't realize he's got a strength 10, 1 attack. Urian's only toughness 5. Yeah, so he's already hit, he's already wounded. Urian has a 4 invulnerable. Yes! Urian swung at the same time, however, didn't do any damage at all. The Grotesques are going to have a seriously hard time chomping through this mess. So yeah, this happened. Urian might have survived, but the weight of dice from them possessed, re-rolling to wound. And yeah, Alex kind of killed them all and dropped Urian to 1 wound. And then at initiative 1, the Obliterator swang. He hit and failed to wound. He rolled a 1. Urian himself is holding up this entire squad. However, he's not fearless. Thankfully though, because of power from pain and because he counts it as being turn 4, he is fearless thanks to that. These guys need to make it over and fast. Yep. Archon and the Grotesque, Urian has let out a cry for help. He doesn't want to admit it, but the Archon is coming and she's going to make an heroic intervention to try and take down that Chaos Lord. The Void Raven's pilot, meanwhile, has sighted the Defiler coming around the side of the building and wants to take it out, whilst the Razorwing pilot has sighted the rear armour and protecting the Dark Kin from that heavy flamer. These can't move, but the plan is move, run in the next 2 turns and get me that objective. Down here, there's a lot to go on. Hopefully, though, we can cut through all of these guys and secure this objective. Meanwhile, at the back, the Jink and Venom has moved on to the objective, and I'm going to have a few shots at these. The Blaster and the guys inside should hopefully be able to take them down. And at this side, the 2 bikers that hit and ran around the corner and then pulled back to shoot at these. The Scourge did come in, and I tried to land them between the Defiler and the Land Raider. Unfortunately, they mishapped, and they're all the way down here, but still that's an extra few shots at this guy to hopefully take him out. I'm keeping the Reavers back so that in the next turn or 2 they can jump forward to steal this objective. All to play for. Everybody is fighting over the 4 corner objectives, but I think the game is going to be made in this corner. And the Raider with the 10 warriors in has also landed to hopefully take these guys out. The Reaper, unfortunately, still off the board. I didn't want to deploy it with it only having a 24-inch range gun. I didn't want to deploy it along here for it to be blown up. So hopefully when it deep strikes, it should be able to do some damage. But let's move on to shooting, and hopefully we can kill some of these possessed machines. So the Dark Eldar have managed to take control of their deployment zone again. The Raider here managing to kill the 2 Obliterators. The Venom though, it could potentially flat out, but I'm going to leave it exactly where it is for the moment. It's out of line of sight. Down here, the Reavers tried to take out the Obliterator, but unfortunately it didn't even hit because they jinked. But it was actually the Scourge with Haywire Blasters of all things that managed to cut them down. Meanwhile, across in the centre here, the Void Raven pilot didn't even hit the Defiler Lyran right in front of him. And the Razorwing pilot, the comms must have been scrambled, as he unfortunately only got a single hit on this guy, 1 pen and an immobilized result. But guess what? These are pinned in, and that's got a heavy flamer. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. So basically the only thing that's remained unscathed was this Obliterator and the Defiler and Land Raider. So not too bad for the Dark Eldar forces. We are regaining control across this demolished bed, but we've got these guys charging in. So down here we made it into combat, but Urian wants to slink off into the shadows. And the Archon has managed to do an heroic intervention. She saw the Chaos Lord and she wants a piece of him. She's a +2 strength because of the Warpsmith that she killed in the Soul Trap, and she's now got Furious Charge, so she is strength 6. I believe your Lord is weapon skill 6 though, which means I hit you on 3s. Oh. I wound you on 2s with instant death. Oh my word.
2 4-ups.
It's AP3, but
Yeah.
even then,
4-ups, so.
yeah, that's gonna kill him. Yeah, and that would actually pile over into one of the others as well, because the entire weapon has instant death. So that's gonna get me an extra 3 strength, I think. We'll double check. Right, so down here, the Archon obviously slain the Chaos Lord, and one of the possessed, the Grotesques, meanwhile damaging quite a lot of the possessed, but their armor held out, only killing 1 more. The possessed swinging back managed to slay another Grotesque and put wounds on the other 2, and the Obliterator doing 1 wound. So all in all, Alex lost by 2, -1 leadership for Freakish Spectacle, and unfortunately we didn't pass that. Kind of wish I'd give her the Armor of Misery now for a further -2, but I didn't quite have the points. So basically, we're stuck in there because the possessed are fearless. So that is the end of the Dark Eldar turn 3. The Archon, however, is now base strength 8 thanks to that Soul Trap. If she issues a challenge and accepts, and I manage to kill another guy, that's going to make her strength 9, plus Furious Charge. I see a Land Raider. But we'll have to see what happens. It's the first time that her Soul Trap has managed to power up to this extent, but hopefully it prevails. Done movement and shooting for the Iron Warriors. The Land Raider shot up at the Void Raven. We elected to jink, but unfortunately there was no hits. Meanwhile, the Obliterator here jumped onto the Icarus Las Cannon and he had the jink. There was no way I couldn't avoid that, but thankfully we managed to save that glance. Down here, yeah, this guy torched 2 of them with a heavy flamer and then dropped the plasma cannon on. I had to go to ground to try and keep him alive because it's the only thing I'm going to have to be able to get me this objective for the minute. So yeah, he's kind of stuck there, but I'm guessing next turn he's probably going to die because the only thing I'm going to have to take it on is going to be a Snapfiring Void Raven. Right, so in combats down here, we've managed to take out all the possessed apart from 1. The Archon using the Soul Trap to capture the soul of the champion. She is now strength 9. That is insane. The Soul Grinder, of course, that's not Soul Grinder, that's the Defiler, charged in and managed to do a single wound to one of the Grotesque. The weight of dice from the Obliterator and the other ones managed to wound this guy down to 1. And yeah, the Grotesques with Rampage managed to kill, I think, 3. of the possessed. The Archon slaying a second one though. So yeah, Urian didn't kill any, unfortunately, either. But the Obliterator here, thanks to losing by 3, plus the -1 leadership from Freakish Spectacle, means that he ran. So he is going to be struggling to get back in the fight next turn. Yeah, let's see what we can do though. Reserves for the Dark Eldar, of course. The Reaper is finally on, and in true style he gets a direct hit facing the Land Raider. He's laying wait, but is he going to do what he's designed to do? The Razor Wing has also pulled sideways, looking to drop its lancers down at the Land Raider, and the Void Raven pulling to the side. It's only got 2 snapshots, but I'm hoping that I can at least get rid of him. If I do hit, at least it's an auto glance. But I don't want to explode it because I might kill him. Yeah, and he is going to be the one that's going to score me, hopefully, objective marker that is down there. These guys are tied up in combat, but this Raider has moved forward. He's just within range of the guys inside. They're going to be snap firing because I had to move 12. But yeah, he's just now within range of that Obliterator. Over this side, though, I elected not to move the Venom. The Bikers have hid. They're going to make their move shortly, but the Scourge have also pushed forward as well. In a moment of clarity, the Void Raven got a single hit on the rear armour of that Hellbrute, hoping to save the one Darkkin that was remaining, and we managed to blow it up. Unfortunately, I was absolutely sweating to see if this guy was going to go down, but he just exploded on the spot, only 2 inches away, just missing that guy. Rest of the shooting phase, and the Reaper pilot absolutely sucks because he totally missed the Land Raider that his gun is a mere 4 or 5 inches from. It was in fact the Razor Wing pilot that managed to get a single glance. Meanwhile, the Obliterator that was in the middle here took fire from the guys inside, and despite the snap firing, getting 8 hits and 4 wounds, his armour held out. It was actually the disintegrator cannon from the pilot that brought it down. And that was it for the shooting phase. These guys have already ran. The bikes are staying where they are for the moment, looking to leap up onto this objective next turn. I don't know if I want to turbo boost them yet though. Should I do it? You know what? I think I'm going to. So straight on with Iron Warriors turn 5, and the Land Raider has wrecked the Reaper, immobilising it with the las cannon shots first, getting 2 glances with the heavy bolter, and unfortunately because I was immobilised I couldn't jink, and we failed those 6-up cover saves. So not too great at all. Down here though, it's worth noting that the Obliterator failed his morale. Alex rolled an 8, but he's at -1 because he's within 12 of the Freakish Spectacle. The Grotesque, however, did get a single wound back thanks to It Will Not Die last turn. But we've got the Archon swinging now at strength 9. She's going first against this Defiler. I'm so used to using the Soul Grinder. So I've got 3 attacks. 4. I hit with 3. I'm strength 9, 3's to glance. 1 pen. 5 up. It goes through. What does it do? Come on. 5. Right, so Alex managed to do another single wound to that Grotesque. Thank God it got 1 back for It Will Not Die. And that is it. That is his turn over. He's just down to these 2 guys here, but can he hold out? Eldar turn 5. The Scourge unfortunately didn't get quite far enough run to make this objective, so these guys are going to take it just to give me that objective at the end of the turn. Shooting phase, the 2 bikers took 2 shots, 1 each at the Obliterator, but failed to do anything, and the 2 flies of course have gone off the board. The 1 warrior though has moved and ran just into the ruins there, and he is within 12 to score line breaker if the game ends. We need to try and bring down this Defiler in order to secure this objective though. Meanwhile, down here, the Obliterator did take a single wound despite the pilot of the Raider getting 3 hits with that disintegrator cannon. But combat, the Defiler is on 2 wounds. Come on, Archon. 2 hits again. 1 pen again. Come on, immobilize it. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So it's down to 1 hull point, which now means that Urian and the Grotesque can do some damage. Right, so looking across the battlefield at the end of turn 5, the Dark Eldar secure this objective. The immobilized Ravager secures that one. The Raider secures this one. And the Reavers secure this one. This is the only one that Alex currently holds. But does the game continue on a 3+? It doesn't. So there we go, folks. A victory for the Dark Eldar, making their mark and taking the objectives from the Iron Warriors. Their fortification standing in ruins. It's been an absolute pleasure of a game playing against Alex. The Iron Warriors are absolutely fantastic. We've been talking about the game a little bit there, and we both agree that if the Grotesques had still only been toughness 5, it would have been a totally different ball game. Alex also said that if your Warpsmith had gone against the Grotesques instead, to double them out with the strength 10 attack rather than going for the Archon. But who doesn't love some Warlord and Warlord action, especially when it was who could roll a 1 first, basically. So yeah, that is it, folks. Today's game is filmed down at Catterick Wargames. Please check them out on Facebook. I will post a link in the description. If you play a board game or miniature game, the chances are somebody here plays it. Thanks very much for watching, folks, and we'll see you next time.